And now to Mexico, our correspondent Clayton Conn was on scene during yet another protest of families of disappeared in a country where there are more than 23,000 people missing.
It has now become a common sight, mothers in Mexico's missing or disappear taking the streets of the country's major cities. For many, the years of protests and demands for answers fall on chronically deaf ears.
It seems that there's a terrible deafness, because we've gone to many authorities. We present them with our problem, which is not an isolated problem. And there's only a simulation, because they don't search. There is no actual field search.
Analysts watch closely as Mexican lawmakers do approve a bill that gives official recognition and calls for adequate penalties to the crime of forced disappearance, 17 years after the United Nations called on Mexican authorities to act.
It's a step, an element, but it's very inefficient because what they have recently been able to achieve is that general laws can now be emitted. But the crimes against humanity are not categorized as such in the penal codes. And we are not just talking about forced disappearance. We are also talking about torture, extrajudicial murder, and sexual abuses.
Yet analysts point to the ongoing investigation into the case of the disappeared Ayotzinapa students as an example of the state's unwillingness to fully act against those authorities who participate in the previously mentioned crimes.
We consider it to be a negative element that there is a fragmentation of the investigation that does not give an integral perspective of the different crimes committed in this context. We have made very concrete recommendations that hopefully will produce decisions towards this accumulation in the case that will produce better results in the investigation.
Protests for justice and truth will continue to fill the streets until lawmakers actually implement the newly passed law against forced disappearances. Clayton Conn, teleSUR, Mexico City.